Salt flats, or salt pans as we call them in Africa, are truly spectacular. It's just big sky and horizons as far as you can see it. Usually not the easiest places to get to, but I think very worth it. Welcome to Get Out Go. I'm Christoph. Please join us as we go camping around the salt pans of Botswana.
It's one thing taking out an off-road caravan for a weekend, but it's a whole different story to live with it for a long trip, especially in rough conditions. We thought it's high time we took two of these out to Botswana.
Good morning. We're at Matamba Bush Camp, which usually means we're off to Botswana again. We're towing a Tough Cats Mbada Nova, and this is a special one. This is a prototype, so I won't be able to show you everything, but it's launching soon. We're also joined by Rhino from Outdoor Campers and his family. He's towing a Bushwhacker Sundowner, so we're going to see how these perform in Botswana. We're heading to the Pans. First off though, down to Lephalale to buy a new chair, because one of our chairs fell into the fire last night. And refuel, and then down to the Stockbird border.
We're setting off from Matamba, stopping at Lephalale, and then entering Botswana through the Stockbird border. Our first camp in Botswana is Khama Rhino Sanctuary. Then we'll visit the magical Kubu Island, and then a short trip to Khumaga in the Makgadikgadi National Park, and Baines Baobabs in Nxai National Park. We'll then head down to Woodlands near Francistown, and come back to South Africa via Martin's Drift, and finally Matla Noka. exactly playing along. It feels like winter all over, even though it's October.
So we've just cleared the border through Stockport. It's usually pretty quiet. It's I don't think commercial traffic's allowed through there, so it's usually a breeze to go through there. There's a few kilometers of quite a right dirt road, and then we'll be heading to Khama Rhino Sanctuary. I think the last time you were at Khama, we were going to the Central Kalahari, right?
Yes, yeah, it's a few years ago, just before COVID struck. Literally just before COVID struck, so it's been a few years. Looking forward to going back.
And it's been what, like 14 years since you've been to Kubu Island.
Yes.
So looking forward to that. We'll probably fuel up and restock in either Palape or Serui. Right now we're just enjoying the ride to Khama Rhino Sanctuary.
Khama is a regular stopover for us as it's conveniently located as a great midway stop in Botswana. We really like the campsites here, albeit some of the facilities still need some TLC.
This is the extent of the setup here. It feels a little bit like cheating. And that's it, we set up.
It's just as easy over on Rudu's side. These caravans really are convenient. We settle in for our first evening, and it's lovely as always, albeit a little cold.
Good morning. It's officially our first game drive. We're only staying one night at Khama, so it's early morning. It's just 7:30, so we're just going to have a quick game drive and then on our way to Kubu Island. I don't think we're going to see much because the weather is awful.
Miserable.
Yeah, it's very dewy and it's misty and it's like a light rains. It's miserable today, so let's go have a look, and then on to Letlakani and Kubu Island.
As suspected, everything's taking shelter from the weather, so no game sightings today, unfortunately. We have a 200-kilometer, 3-hour drive today. We're heading to Letlakani, and then it's mostly dirt to Kubu Island. Letlakani is a great stop to refuel and restock. We usually fuel up at the engine, and there's a nice mall right next to it.
Yeah, so we just stopped for the mandatory Nando's burger in Letlakani. like you've seen us do many times if you watch the channel. Little Akani seems to be a booming little town. It's just growing every time we get here. There's some nice stores. It's a good place to refuel. Now we're going through the sort of little bustling city centre, and then we'll hit dirt soon down to Kubu Island.
Civilization is disappearing fast now, and it's not long before we hit dirt. It's a good idea to air down now, as it's dirt all the way to Kubu. The road to Kubu starts off with thick, sometimes overgrown mopani veld. The sand can be really soft and thick in some places. It isn't technical, but you definitely need a 4x4. After a while, it opens up to wide savanna and eventually the salt pans. This is where the true spectacle starts. We're setting up on campsite number 12 and it's super windy. All the campsites are located on the eastern side of the island, but number 12 and 6 do have great views of Suwa Pan. Most of the sites have some shade at least, provided by either baobabs or shepherd trees. We settle in for a beautiful starlit, albeit windy evening. And this wind carries on right through till morning, unfortunately.
So we reached a fairly windy Kubu Island last night. The wind was pumping. So right now we're just filming the walk around or the review of this new Mbada Nova. I can't show you too much now, you'll have to wait till February for that video. In the meantime, let me show you around Kubu Island.
Kubu Island, also known as Le Kubu or Ganyo, is located in the southeastern corner of Suapan in the Makgadikgadi. The island features most predominantly large granite outcrops and ancient baobabs. These baobabs have been silently witnessing history go by since around the time of the Roman Empire. The island overlooks a literal sea of sand, stretching as far as the eye can see. I recommend spending at least 2 nights here so you can have a full day to explore the island. We're packing up though to head to our next location. The campsites here all have great locations but have no facilities, so you need to be fully self-sufficient. This remains one of our favorite places. We're making a last pit stop at the rocks before heading out again.
Just leaving Kubu Island. Had a very good stay as usual. Haven't been, like I said, in I think 3 or 4 years, and you haven't been 14.
Yeah.
How did you find it?
I actually had more time at Kubu Island this time, so I could actually explore a little bit more. The baobabs are amazing. It's just such an ecosystem there. It's just been left. It's very mystical.
Yeah, it's if there's one place on your bucket list you should have in Botswana, it's Kubu Island. The kids actually, we had to stop at the point there so they could play on the rocks again, and apparently we're coming back here for a birthday, so if kids like it, it's a good place. So, we're actually going back to Letlhakane and then taking the tar road up to Khumaga. You can go north from Kubu to Nata or Gweta, but note those roads are not great and it's very overgrown. So with somebody else's caravan in tow, I didn't think that was the best of ideas. So I think it's about an hour and a half to Makgadikgadi, and then on to Khumaga.
Sticking to the paved roads, it's around 240 kilometers and 3 hours to Khumaga camp. We're soon at the Khumaga village turnoff, and we're about to cross the Bateti River. It's October, but there hasn't been any rain yet, so it's bone dry.
We're about to cross the Bateti, and it's completely dry. So if you recall some of my previous episodes, when there's water in the river, you actually used the ferry to cross, but now we'll just drive through. Quite excited to see Khumaga again.
In the wet season, it costs around 175 pula per vehicle to cross the Bateti using the ferry. It's manual and a bit rickety, but it works. Alternatively, you can also enter Nxai from the northern Puduhudu gate. We probably have the worst campsite, campsite 4. It's right in the middle of camp and has no shade. Even though this might be the worst, it's still great to be here. Sunrise at Nxai is truly special, and we're up early for our first game drive. We'll be heading out again today, but not before soaking up another beautiful sunrise. There are 10 campsites here, and they are well separated and have a great atmosphere. Some sites overlook the river, and there are well-maintained bathrooms. We're going to drive through the park today and exit at the Puduhudu gate.
So we are leaving Khumaga. Had a great stay again. There's definitely a lot more game around the river in the dry season than what we've seen before. So that was pretty spectacular. What did you think of Khumaga?
Very nice. The animal sightings, wow, it's overwhelming amount of animals in the riverbed. So many zebras and elephants. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, it's very similar to something like Etosha, where obviously there's not a lot of water around, and it seemed to have been quite a dry season, so everything's heading to the few water holes or pools that's left. Yeah, really good stay. Again, props to SKL as usual for very, very neat campsites and very neat ablutions. There are some pesky vervet monkeys around, so don't leave anything unattended. Otherwise, great stay. On our way to Baines. You haven't been to Baines either?
No, first time.
Yeah, so looking forward to it.
It's a short 50-kilometer drive to Baines in Nxai National Park. We're driving next to the Buteti one last time as we head out. Driven this road many times before, but little did I know the state it's in at the moment. It soon reduces our speed to a maximum of 10 kilometers an hour with some crazy hoops, most of them cross-axle. Even though our tire pressures are lowered, I still managed to get us stuck. There's nothing for it but to pull out the recovery boards. We're testing these go treads and lower the tire pressure even more. We're only too happy to finally see the Puruhuru Gate and the end of this road. The next stretch is an easy 11 kilometers of tar to the Nxai National Park gate.
We've just arrived at Nxai. We just left the Makgadikgadi National Park. It's literally like 11 kilometers of tar in between. The road from Kumaga up to here was nasty. Never seen it that nasty. So do yourself a favor, if you drive on these roads, please lower your tire pressure. It's great for yourself and you're not tearing up the trucks. It's usually high speed and high pressure tires that cause these sort of corrugations and those undulations. Off to Baines right now, looking forward to it.
The track to Baines is also thick, soft sand, but it's a lot better than the last stretch at least. We eventually arrive at Makgadikgadi Pan and our next campsite.
Yeah.
This is campsite number 3, one of our favorites. We're also hearing barking geckos here for the first time. That's usually a sound reserved for the Kalahari. We're just taking it easy today as we're a little tired from all the driving. And what a place this is to take it easy at.
We arrived at Baines Baobab campsite number 3 yesterday afternoon, quite late. The road from Khumaga was just awful. That's usually not too bad, and from previous occasions, it's the road to South Camp in Nxai and Baines was really bad. This one wasn't actually that bad, but it took us a good, 4 or 5 hours to do 50 kilometers. So not easy going, but this is why we come here. Absolutely spectacular. Watching the sunrise, ancient baobabs around the salt flats, just absolutely amazing.
There are 3 campsites around Makgadikgadi Pan, and this is number 3. My other favorite is number 2, and number 1 is usually the most popular as it's right across from the Baines Baobab site. These campsites feature bucket showers and pit toilets. There is no water here though, so you have to bring your own. This place also looks completely different after it rains. It hardly looks like the same spot. Right now, we're heading across the pan to the main Baines Baobabs site. Always stay in the tracks and stay in the tracks on the edge of the pan in the rainy season.
This is Baines Baobabs. It's named after Thomas Baines. It's quite a nice site. Definitely put this on your bucket list if you coming to Botswana.
Thomas Baines was a late 1800s English artist with a passion for exploration. One can only imagine the sight this must have been in those days and what it was like travelling here on horseback or ox wagon. Also be careful of some sharp rocks in the middle of the pans. We helped out some SKL staff that had a flat thanks to some of these rocks. We spend the rest of our time just relaxing and taking in this great place. Not before an impromptu soccer match on the pan though. This truly is a spectacular place to be. We're braaiing on the edge of the pan tonight. Use a fire pit if you're going to do this, obviously. And we're also baking a fresh bread back at camp. What a great way to end off our stay here. We've truly had a great time here, but it's time to hit the road again. Today is a 380-kilometer, 5-hour drive to Woodlands Camp near Francistown.
We've just left Nxai National Park and Baines Baobab. Just aired up and we're on our way to Nata to refuel and restock. Had a good stay. The weather was a bit strange. We've had lots of wind on this trip, and wind and salt pans don't exactly go hand in hand. Our next stop is Woodlands, which is quite a nice stopover, so I'll still show you around there. And then we're on to Matla Noka.
Time will leave our troubles behind, and you'll take care of me along the way. My love, one day the time will leave our troubles behind. Here with you in our treetop view. Well, it takes me to when I was young.
Woodlands is a great stopover and a good break from bush camping. Today is the last leg of our trip, but we're heading to one of our favorite locations.
We left Woodlands early this morning and just stopped in Francistown for breakfast and coffee. We're just passing through Palape again. This time we'll cross through the Martinsdrift or Groblersbrug border post as that's closer to Matla Noka. I think we still have about an hour's drive to the border, so we'll see you again at Matla Noka.
We have a 6-hour drive ahead of us through Martinsdrift to Matla Noka near Mokopane. Little did we know using this border post would be a big mistake. Seems there were some changes made to the South African customs systems and there was literally one lady manning the desk, so it took us more than 2 hours to cross the SA side of the border. We at least had some great scenery once we finally exited this circus. Matla Noka is one of our favorite camps. Have a look at my Take a Breath video if you'd like to see a detailed video of this place. We're staying at Buffels Camp. This is well suited for larger groups and on the banks of the Klein and Grootstack rivers.
We've reached Matla Noka. If you're a regular viewer of the channel, you'll know this is one of our favorite spots. This is our last evening, but let me show you around a little bit first.
This is the perfect spot to end off this trip.
Very happy how the caravans performed with some really nasty roads. They held up really nicely. Just goes to show again, there is no perfect or ultimate setup. It really boils down to your needs and your requirements and what you prefer.
Be sure to subscribe to catch my detailed reviews of both these great caravans.
I really think these places are worthwhile to visit, and you can do that with a camper or most off-road caravans. It's really worth it. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, it does make a difference. Until next time, get out there.